Hey guys, Fugus 101 here, and this is my first movie review in the week of October. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys about my fifth favorite horror movie of all time. And believe it or not, that movie is the 2010 remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now this movie, this movie has been shat on so much. It's not even funny. Before I begin the actual review, I want to talk a little bit about the comparisons between remakes and the original movies. Most people that are fans of original classic horror movies like Friday the 13th, Halloween, and this movie, Nightmare on Elm Street, as soon as they see a trailer or a glimpse of a remake coming out, they immediately think, "Oh, it's going to suck." Yeah, without even hearing anything about the movie, just seeing the trailer, they think, "Oh, this movie's gonna suck because it's not the original." That's the point of a remake. You make a classic movie your own, and people compare this movie to the original so much, and it really makes me just angry because, first of all, Jackie Earle Haley plays Freddy Krueger in this movie, and I have to say, his performance was phenomenal as Freddy Krueger. He scared the pants off of me in this movie because he was more realistic and he was scary. I mean, he was a brutal killer in this movie. And when people comment on his role as Freddy, everybody says, more than half Nightmare on Elm Street fans always say, he will never be as good as Robert Englund. And I can agree with that, because Robert Englund did it first. Before him, no one had known about Freddy. So when a new one comes out, of course, people are going to immediately compare the new guy to the original. And I don't do that. That bothers me. I go in with an open mind saying, okay, this is a fresh take on an old movie. Let's see how they do. And in my opinion, this movie was great. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. That is a big deal. Now, talking about the movie, again, Jackie Earle Haley was amazing as Freddy. He was so, frightening and so realistic. The makeup on him was just beyond anyone's imagination. Or, not really, because he's just a burn victim. But he looks crazy. Like, the skin above his eyes is, melted over his actual eyes. Like, it's drooping over. His face, if you, Two-Face from The Dark Knight, if you look at the side of his face where his jaw is exposed, that's almost like how Freddy looked in the movie. He had a huge chunk of his face just missing, pretty much on both sides, and he just looked awesome. The movie did have numerous jump scares. Some of them were really good, others were completely unneeded. Like, if anyone had seen the movie, and you remember the scene where Nancy and Quinn, whatever his name was, they were driving down the road, and Freddy just appears out of nowhere and then goes away. And it scared me. It scared the crap out of me. But after, I was just like, what? Why? Why do you need that? That was completely unnecessary. The movie had so many jump scares. I couldn't even count all of them. But it didn't really take away any of the movie, if that makes any sense. That probably sounded ridiculous. I don't know how to phrase this, but the jump scares kind of annoyed me, but it didn't really take my attention away from why I enjoyed the movie. And the girl that played Nancy, she was extremely boring in the movie. So the acting wasn't, besides Jackie Earle Haley, he was awesome. He was just, whoa. The kids were just teenage actors, or in their mid-20s, I guess, playing teenagers, as pretty much all teenage roles are played by these days. But they were just people getting killed. They were playing a teenager that was going to get killed. That was their role, and they did it fine. Some were, exaggerated. Others were just boring, like Nancy. But, really, I was just mainly focused on Freddy the whole time, because he was just... He was who I was rooting for. I was like, yeah, kill him, kill him. One thing that this movie did extremely well was it kept so many of the iconic scenes from the original movie, like the bathtub scene when Nancy's taking a bath and Freddy's claw comes up out of the water and grabs her. Another scene is when Nancy's friend, who Freddy killed in the room with her boyfriend, and everybody blamed the boyfriend for her death. In this movie, he threw her all over the place. She was just bouncing around the whole room, and it was kind of funny. I was laughing because she was just rolling around like a rag doll on the ceiling, but it was like he beat the shit out of her. And then he just sliced her open like a cow. And the iconic scene is Nancy sees her in the hallway with like the plastic over her, and there's blood like everywhere. That looked really cool. And also the scene when Freddy comes out of the wall watching Nancy sleep. It was a little weird in this movie because he like came completely out of the wall, like the wall stretched and curved to like look at her. But yeah, there were just so many cool things about the movie. One of them being the dream sequences. This movie performed the dream sequences amazingly. Like there's one scene where Quinn or Quentin or whatever the hell his name is, it begins with a Q. He's swimming. He's at like swim class or he's on the swim team and he's swimming underwater. And he falls asleep underwater and he comes up in like a bed of water outside of the what's it called? I forgot it. The place where Freddy like worked and where he died. With all the pipes and stuff. I'm so sorry I forget that. But this scene, they actually showed Freddy's origin, which I thought was extremely well played out in the movie. I'm sorry, guys. My microphone is a piece of shit. But as I was saying, the origin story of Freddy was so well played out in the movie. Basically, all of the parents of the town are chasing Freddy in their cars because they think he like sexually abused their children. And Freddy, they chase him into the abandoned place where he worked, or the abandoned building, and he's trapped in there, and they end up throwing a Molotov inside. The place erupts in flames. Freddy's inside, freaking out. He's on fire, ripping off his jacket to reveal the striped sweater underneath. And you hear him screaming and stuff, and then he bursts out the door, completely engulfed in flames. You see his face, his hair's completely melted off. His face is just dripping with like burning flesh. It just looks awesome. It was because you never got to see that in the original, so I think that the fact that they put it in the movie so perfectly, it was just awesome. Also, Freddy. Another iconic scene in the movie that Freddy has done is his wisecracks. Because in the original, Freddy would always make these jokes, and I guess they were kind of funny in the first few movies, but as it went on, he just became like a comical character. In this movie, he does make jokes, but they're sick and they're twisted. Like, there's one scene where the boyfriend, he's in jail they think he killed his girlfriend. He's dreaming, and he's in Freddy's world. Freddy plunges his hand, his knife glove, through his chest, and he's like, after the heart stops beating, the brain still goes on for 7 more minutes or something like that. And he's like, that means we have 7 more minutes to play. And I was like, oh! That is just brutal. Like, who says that? And then also, like, there's a scene where Nancy's pinned down in bed, and Freddy's like, oh, where's your boyfriend? And she says something. He's like, well, I'm your boyfriend now. And he, like, whispers it to her in this raspy, like, gross voice. And I'm just like, this guy is amazing as Freddy Krueger. And basically, that's pretty much what I'm saying about the movie. It is awesome. One scene at the end was kind of weird. Like, it was just kind of ridiculous. Like, something happened, and I was just thinking, why would you do that? Are you that, like, thick-skulled that you would do something like that? And then the last kill of the movie, I guess, was just like, all right then. It came out of nowhere, but you were like, all right, I guess that had to be in the movie. But some things, like the jump scares, were kind of unneeded. But other than that, I have to give this movie a 10 out of 10, because it is in the list of my top 5 favorite horror movies of all time. and that is a big deal. So please see this movie. And one more thing about the remakes, stop judging the remakes, please, before you see them. I understand some of them aren't very good, like the Friday the 13th doesn't have the best plot, doesn't have the best acting, but Derek Mears as Jason was freaking insane. He is probably one of my favorite looking Jasons of all time. He looked like a beast. And the same thing with Rob Zombie's Halloween. Besides the whole beginning with Michael's like upbringing, the scenes in the asylum were amazing because we'd never seen those before. Michael breaking out, becoming the serial killer. Tyler Mane as Michael Myers was just awesome. Rob Zombie's story was awesome. He kept awesome awesome iconic scenes like Bob's death. Like that was awesome that he put that in the movie. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching my first horror movie review in my list of my top 5 favorite horror movies. This was my number 5, A Nightmare on Elm Street remake with Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy, who was a beast. I know I can't really say he was better than Robert Englund, but they couldn't have done it better. He was just perfect. So yeah, guys, there's more to come. My next review will probably be Wednesday of next week. And in between that, I'll have videos of like concept horror drawings, updates about Halloween, just a bunch of fun videos. So stay tuned, guys, and thanks for watching. This is Fucus 101 signing out.